What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to episode 2 in the Stabber series. Yesterday, I posted episode 1, and I asked you guys if you wanted to see more. And, of course, you all overwhelmingly said absolutely right away, in fact. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put the thumbnail on screen right here and leave a link to it down below in the description. But we're back with another series, this time on r/JUSTNOMIL, but goodness me, the first episode was pretty mental. And today, we've got updates. A week later, but we have updates. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and get ready for 4 more posts in the Stabber series. And of course, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. It's vitally important that you do that so you don't miss future episodes in this series. Interestingly, I can actually see in my YouTube analytics how many of you guys have turned notifications on. And as you can see on screen right now, almost 30% of you have turned on all notifications, which is actually super high. As you can see, typically on YouTube, you'll get 10 to 30%. So thank you for that. However, you've got to enable YouTube notifications as well to actually get notified, I think. It's one thing having notifications on when you go on YouTube, but you've got to have YouTube notifications on. And only 8.9% of you have that on. So turn that on. Right flipping now. My mother-in-law stabbed me, and somehow I'm the jerk. Update 4. My previous posts are jumbled messes. I'm sorry guys, I was emotionally dumping here because there was so much I couldn't say in my real life. I'm going to try and make this one a little less wordy. So, I got awarded emergency custody, and we have a hearing not long from now. I don't feel comfortable giving dates or more info on this. Originally, my lawyer advised against even going for it because my soon-to-be ex was only leaving evidence when he abused me, not my child. But now my soon-to-be ex cannot come near us until the court date. Police escorted me the day after my last post to get our things. My soon-to-be ex had the locks changed and at first wouldn't open the door for the police, but relented. An officer waited by the door while I gathered everything up in trash bags. I'd gotten all of my important stuff into the car, including my son's birth certificate and shot records. Thank you guys for reminding me of those. And I was loading up my son's toys when my mother-in-law got there. She peeked past me into my son's room and started ugly sobbing on my shoulder, clinging to me. I shook her off after a few seconds and kept loading toys and books. I finished up and started stripping my son's bedding, and she lost her mind, screaming about how she bought that toddler bed and I couldn't take it. She literally kicked it so it slid away from me and grabbed the pillows, holding them to her chest like a petulant child. I started to argue, but I just shrugged it off and said I could buy him a new one. She then demanded to go through the bags that were in my car already. I refused. She apparently tried to help herself into my vehicle because after she slunk outside, I heard an officer shouting at her. I finished up. My soon-to-be ex asked if we could talk. I declined and left. He dug his own grave a few nights ago. I completely stopped responding and sent one text telling him to go through our lawyers if he wanted to talk, and that if he wanted to see his son, he may only text, not call, and we'd work something out. He kept texting and calling. I blocked my mother-in-law's number, so she took to messaging my sister on Instagram, demanding I bring my son back and talk this out with her son, like adults. Quite a change of tune, huh? My sister let it slip that I'm pursuing a clause that would prevent my mother-in-law from seeing her grandson, since I have proof of a few events that would be considered abusive. And now, suddenly, she's loved me this whole time and wants to fix everything. My soon-to-be ex realised I wasn't responding, so he drove to my aunt's house. My lawyer said not to lie about where we are. She wouldn't let him in and told him to leave. They started shouting. My mum and sister took my son upstairs, and when my soon-to-be ex saw him walking with them, the stairs are in view of the door, he started pushing against the door as my aunt was trying to close it. He shoved it hard enough that my aunt fell, so he bolted inside and up the stairs. He started banging on the door, yelling for my son to come out right then, or else. My mum was yelling, "What the F does or else mean? What are you gonna do? Hurt your kid? Let your mum hurt him? Go to hell." That was paraphrased, but she was losing her mind through the door. He was yelling back at her when I caught up, And in a moment of stupidity, I shoved him. He shoved me back and kept shoving me, screaming in my face. I ran back down the stairs and he freaking chased me. He'd never acted like that before, so I panicked and locked myself in the bathroom, which he then tried to push his way into. At some point, his ride over, my mother-in-law, came inside and started packing up whatever she could see of my sons. The cops came not long after this. My aunt had run to her car and called them. My mother-in-law talked to them first and fed them a lot of BS, but once they realised we were hiding, they sided with us. My soon-to-be ex got arrested. His mum was informed she could have been arrested for theft for removing my son's things. She was removing them when the cops arrived, but she was given the option to give it back and go home. My ex was bailed out yesterday. My lawyer got the custody order set up, and it cleared this morning. My mother-in-law also may not come near him or attempt to pick him up, as she is included in the order. I never thought my life would end up like this, and honestly, every time somebody knocks on the door, I feel like I'm jumping out of my skin. I don't know what my soon-to-be ex exactly planned to do, but he's never behaved like that before. He's usually more mental than physical. I don't know what's gotten into him. Well, I do, but it all makes no sense. So, that is the update. My son and I are both starting therapy. He doesn't understand what's happening and misses his dad a lot. All he wants to do is go to my mother-in-law's and play on that stupid frickin' jungle gym. He said he misses her too. How do I help him understand this? He's asked so many times if dad is picking him up or if we're going home soon, and it's breaking my heart. Okay, wow, that is a genuinely mental update to the previous post. Everything seemed pretty chilled, or like not chilled, but I thought it had calmed down a lot at the end of the previous post, but wow, that's ridiculous. Things have just gone absolutely crazy. What is your ex-husband doing? Soon to be ex-husband, current husband, I don't care. What is he doing? He's just panicked and just gone mental, hasn't he? I mean, the more and more this story goes on, it is pretty clear that you and arguably your son as well have been sort of mentally tormented for a very long time by your husband, of course, but also by his mum. Like, that is so scary to think about. That, yeah, you thought, okay, I'm going to work. It's fine. We can leave the kid with my mother-in-law who absolutely loves him and loves me. And then you realize after all this time what's been really going on and what your husband is really like, and it's just like disgusting. But yeah, at least now you know, and you're able to get out of there. Crazy stuff nonetheless. The next day we got our next post. Stabberer came back this morning. She came to the main gate with 2 coffees and asked to be let in to talk to me. I could hear her yelling, "I brought her Starbucks. Tell her I brought Starbucks," when the gate office called. I refused, and I told them to call the police if she wouldn't leave, and that she was the one on the photo I was bringing down today for them for the no entry file. They told her she couldn't come in. Our house is on the corner, so we could see her at the gate when we walked onto the porch. We saw her argue for a bit into the speaker box, then back out and leave. I went ahead and brought the photos of her and my soon-to-be ex down to the gate office. The attendant said she left when he mentioned the police. It was all on camera. I'm requesting the video and filing for a restraining order. F this. Also, edit to add, I called the police per the advice of my aunt. They're going out to her house now because she was told not to come back. Ugh, terrifying stuff. You're just not getting left alone at all. The next day, we got another post. Stabberer and the coffee update. Plus, advice needed. I called the police back because they never updated me on what happened when they went to Stabberer's. The officer said that she swore she wouldn't come back to the community if he didn't arrest her, so they let her be. If she comes back, she will be arrested for trespassing and possibly a couple of other charges, as the community's landlord is sick of this already and said he's done with her coming here and upsetting his residents. We're sending a cease and desist next week. Stabberer tried to call me several times after the police visited her. When I mentioned it, the officer said to send her one because they technically didn't tell her not to call, and it's a civil matter, so they won't be involved unless she threatens me openly. Now, here is where I need the advice. My ex informed me that he will no longer be fighting me on the divorce. Since I called the police, he is done, and he wants it quickly and easily over. Sounds good, that's what I want too. He also informs me that he wants minimal contact with our son. He said he would take the lowest possible visitation schedule in exchange for me not going for child support. What? He said if he could, he would sign his rights away and be done, and that he may try while in jail if he ends up going. It's hard for a parent to terminate rights in our area, but he wants to be done. He said he's willing to sign a paper stating this is what he wants so that we can use it in custody proceedings. Basically, he wants to pretend that our son doesn't exist, his words, because he'll never feel right around him and doesn't want the clause keeping my son away from my mother-in-law because it would make visits a pain. My mother-in-law did all of the actual parenting when my ex and his mum were alone with him. What have I just read? I genuinely don't know how to respond, OP continues. I want my son to have a dad, and this came completely out of left field. I feel like he's trying to manipulate me, but at the same time, the texts read as genuine. I'm turning a copy over to my lawyer when I see him on Monday, but any advice on what the F to even think about this? I don't have any advice. There's nothing to say to this at all. It's the weirdest paragraph I've read in a long time. What a mental U-turn from barging in to somebody's house, trying to arguably abduct your own son, to then a week after saying, actually, you know what? I don't really care about him anymore. Don't want to see him. Don't want custody. Not paying child support. That is the definition of a genuine Yui. Now, before I give my overall thoughts on everything here, I think it's worth reading one more post. I mean, it just gets crazier and crazier. We're now 5 days later on October the 18th. Again, this is 8 years ago, as you guys know by now, 2017. But how about this for a title? Well, the title is Stabra Update, but the first line, my soon-to-be ex has disappeared. Stabra came to my work and asked if I knew where he was. I told her no, and to get out as I was busy and this isn't the place. My shop owner came out and told her he was calling the police next time she sets foot in any of his establishments. She sent a slew of texts after being told to leave me alone, basically explaining that her son left a note saying he was going out of town and didn't know when he'd be back, but that it wouldn't be soon. She said she needs us and offered to let us live in her house. I didn't respond. She sent another text asking for just her grandson to come and see her, and that she'd pay for my gas and dinner and a movie for my sister and I to just give her a few hours. She just doesn't get it, does she? I did not respond. She then got nasty an hour later and called me a C word and said I deserved the heartache she feels and not her. I didn't respond. I just sent it all to my lawyer via email as they came. Yeah, how about this? I'll buy you a lovely dinner. Go and catch a movie with your sister. Just let me see my grandson for an hour or two. No? Okay, well, okay, fine. You're just a massive cunt. That's the switch up I wanted to see. That's gonna work. Anyway, back to the story. Shortly thereafter, she posted on Facebook asking about lawyers for grandparents' rights and a little blurb about her son running away from being a parent and her grandson needing her. A cousin-in-law sent it to us and asked what was going on. I just said thanks and that I didn't feel comfortable explaining. So, my soon-to-be ex is unreachable. My lawyer is trying to do some finagling to keep the divorce moving along, but we don't know where he currently is at all. He did text me and tell me he left a spare key at the house and to go ahead and get anything else we want because when he comes back, he's donating everything and moving, but that it would probably get ruined before then. An officer is going to go with us and let us get the rest of my son's belongings that we couldn't take before, and my toiletries and my makeup. There are other things I want, but I'm scared to take because I don't know about the legality of it. The officer agreed to sign off on an itemized list of what we take, so my ex can't claim otherwise, and the police department agrees that this is all insane and they're siding with us finally, it seems. Okay, wow. And one more edit to add here. The police are looking for my ex. Apparently there was an order in place for him to not leave state before his court date for forcing his way into my aunt's house, and my mother-in-law believes he's left. we're going to the house now with an officer. The officer told my mum and I that my ex is creating more trouble for himself at this point. Well, there we go. Sadly, we're going to have to wait for the next post to find out just what is going on with your ex, OP. I will say this. I do hope that he's safe. That is the one thing that I'm kind of thinking about. Who knows what he's up to? It seems as though he has just sort of run away and probably is fine. But yeah, I do hope that he's safe and not done anything stupid. But what do you even say about what's going on right here? It's ridiculous. It's insane. This is one of the craziest stories I've read. just mental. And to think, it all started by one pretty weird woman stabbing her daughter-in-law with, I don't even know what it was, something that you used to cook a hot dog or something, wasn't it? Like, I don't even know what that is. Is it wooden? I think it's wooden. That has just caused this crazy explosion and what we're reading now. Crazy how the world works, but maybe it was meant to be. I do just love, though, on the one hand, just saying, oh, I'll buy you dinner. You can watch your favorite movie. No? All right, well, I'm just going to completely abuse you then. If one doesn't work, if the nicest doesn't work, go for the abuse. It's like she's playing good cop, bad cop, but she is both roles, and I absolutely love it. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for episode 2. Goodness me, phenomenal stuff. If you do want to see the next episode, which will be coming tomorrow because I'm loving this series, drop a like on this one and subscribe to the channel. Again, turn notifications on. I told you in the intro, do it now, you clowns. That's not very nice, but if you haven't done it, you are, unfortunately, a clown. I've also made a playlist with all the Stabra episodes in it. That's on screen right here. It will be on the end screen of every single one of these episodes. So if you've missed out on an episode or you're not sure what happened in the last one or where we are in the story, just click there. Very simple. Also linked in the description down below and the pinned comment. And I'll catch you on episode 3.